Now to discussing national security as Nigeria gets new service chiefs. DSS Director, former DSS Director Dennis Amachree joins us live from New York. Security and risk management professional, fellow Nigerian Institute of Industrial Security, Onyekachi Adekoya. Gentlemen, thank you for staying the course. Mr. Adekoya, so much talk about regional spread, particularly at a time that the country seems to be sharply divided across ethnic and religious lines. How well did these appointments fare in this regard?
Ifemi, I've watched everybody on different sides of the aisle commend the president for the appointment. I, for one, cannot fault the appointment. Every geographical zone fully represented. I understand the concerns for the North Central, but again, if you look at it critically, as I'd mentioned earlier, Kaduna South, it's almost like any part of Abuja or Niger or Nasarawa, they share history. And importantly, the Secretary of the Federal Government is from the North Central. Because of the constraints and the sensitivities surrounding the protection of the office of the president and the regime, there's not too much leeway for some of those negotiations. But we must commend the president. He's done very well. Every zone represented, perhaps the corners North Central has to take one on the chin for the protection of the office, the country at large. And let's see what other concessions will be given to the North Central. But let's just also know that the Secretary of the Federal Government is there. ONSA is from the Northeast, CDI is from the South, Chief of Defense Intelligence. The Southeast has the naval. And again, we must also, the point that my Oga Dennis mentioned earlier, this fair balancing is very good. Because if you look at the noise that trailed the press conference given by Sari on issues of oil theft, the Navy is key to the survival of Nigeria. And to see that the president will entrust the Navy to the Southeast shows you that, I mean, he doesn't have anything against any part of the country. Probably he's just looking for who will get the job done. So the Navy is very key to our survival, and that's a very proper position to have given.
Indeed.
But for regime protection, for his personal security, no doubt, IGP and the Chief of Army Staff, which is the most significant amongst of all the chiefs, even sometimes we say operationally, has more weight than the Chief of Defense Staff. So you can't blame the man for taking some steps to protect himself, his office, and his administration. So very fair and balanced appointments, if you ask me.
Mr. Amachree, you agree with me that in the coming days, what would matter would be the performance of these individuals and not where they come from. So we're turning attention now to what they must do differently at a time where every part of the country has a peculiar security challenge. There is banditry in the northwest, pockets of insurgency in the northeast, herders farmers crisis in the north central. Each zone has a peculiar security challenge. Add widespread kidnapping for ransom across the country. We've had service chiefs in the past, who have struggled and who have tried in all sense and all sincerity to deal with these challenges. What must these individuals do differently?
Thank you for that question, because I think, when people are appointed to offices, what Nigerians do is to bring a clean sheet of paper, write the name of the appointee, and then, of course, where he came from. And then you have issues like, oh, North Central has been left out in this, I remember when the Senate, president of the Senate was being, when they were competing for that. And we keep on, bringing these ethnic issues there, forgetting that it is competence that matters a lot. It's just like saying that for all future appointments in Nigeria, we're going to look for people like my colleague Onyekachi Adekoya, who you cannot tell where he comes from, because his first name is Igbo and then his last name is Yoruba. So
he's a total Nigerian.
It's a problem. Yes. maybe we should be appointing people like that. Or the future Nigerians
to
are going
confuse
to be like that.
Nigerians.
Yes, the real Nigerians, where you cannot tell where they come from. So this is where we always tie ourselves down to this. But I think competence is the issue. And then, of course, with these new people, they know what is required of them. They know what has been going on. Some of them have actually been part of the operations that have been taking place in the country. So they know exactly. And then, of course, this is a civilian president. And if you are not doing very well, he can always tell you to go home and then get new people to sit in and do better things. So results is what we are looking for now.
Mr. Onyekachi, we're wrapping up now, but very quickly, I'm just wondering what you think they must do differently. There is separatist violence still relevant in the southeast. The Monday sit at home is still an issue, and billions of naira are being lost, on a monthly basis. Oil theft is still a thing in the south-south. You heard Asari Dokubo right there at the State House, saying that 99% of that criminal act can be traced to the Nigerian military, and he did not mince words when he made that pronouncement. What do you think these service chiefs have to do differently from their predecessors?
Okay, thank you. Very good question. And thanks for adding the Asari comments into the mix. Asari is a stakeholder in the Niger Delta, and some of those comments he made are comments that should be taken very seriously. And I'm sure that the presidency is looking at it. For me, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that the president, commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is the chief security officer of the country. I don't care, not that I don't care, but service chiefs are appointees of the president. The IGP is an appointee of the president. The buck stops at his table. So sink or swim, it's the president. And I think that what must happen differently, and I see it from this president, is to take a very business approach to the issue of security. There's been several reforms that have been proposed to have like accountability within the security sector, clear KPIs from them. Bad behavior should not be rewarded. If there are failures, of course, chop and change them very quickly, because ultimately, the president said nobody should feel sorry for him. He campaigned for the road. Indeed. He's gotten it. And I do feel very sorry for him, because protecting 774 local governments, 220 million Nigerians is no mean feat. So the politics of the country is what contributes over 70% to the issue of insecurity. So if you can bring every warring party, every source of conflict to a table, and provide leadership, and then unclog some of the pain points of the different ethnic groups, we can find a way forward. The service chiefs cannot do as much as the president will do, and the president has to take the driver's seat there. And then the service chiefs will just implement his agenda and his program. That's the way it should be, and that's what must change differently.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I must say a big thank you. Thank you for joining the program. Dennis Amachree is former DSS director, and also we're joined by security and risk management professional Onyekachi Adekoya. Thank you so much for talking to us. Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
Ashiwaju's time has started counting. It probably has just about 3 years and 343 days left, and Nigerians are going to hold him accountable for all the promises he made, particularly in the area of national security. And we're here counting down with him and also bringing you all of the details of his activities, especially in his first 100 days in office. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye.